introduce you all to my city council members, and I'm uplifted by them being here today. District 1, Marie Del Chapo. District 2, Kevin Sheely. District 3, Jason Saccharin. District 4, Robert Mitchell. District 6, Dudley Gregory. District 7, Keith Waring. District 8, Mike Seekings. District 9, Peter Shade. District 11, Ross Appel. And District 12, Councilmember Jackson. Carol Jackson behind me. What a beautiful show of support from our city council. God bless y'all. So, city council members, special guests, and citizens of the city of Charleston. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be with you here today as we come together in this iconic square, not to discard our city's past, no, but to honor its lessons, not to erase our long and often tragic history. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. Testing. Not to erase our long and often tragic history, but to begin to write a new and more equitable chapter of that history. Yes. For generations, this bronze statue of U.S. Senator and Vice President John C. Calhoun has risen high over the peninsula of Charleston, commemorating a man who can rightly be called both South Carolina's most prominent national statesman, but also be called its most consequential defender of slavery and white supremacy. In his own words, in the words of John C. Calhoun, on the floor of the United States Senate in June of 1837, he said, "I hold that in the present state of civilization, where two races of different origin and distinguished by color and other physical differences as well as intellectual are brought together, the relation now existing in the slave-holding states," and that relation he was referring to the institution of slavery, that relation between the two is, instead of an evil, is a good, a positive good. Those were the words of John C. Calhoun in 1837. That we Charlestonians must reckon with Mr. Calhoun's towering and deeply troubling legacy, it's a given. And we've been dealing with this legacy. 2 years ago, we asked our History Commission to come together with the thought that we would just add some historical context to the statue here. Y'all, we couldn't even agree on that. We could not agree to add a plaque and what it might say to add context to this statue. That we must allow this memorial to continue to divide our city while we do that reckoning, however, is not a given. It's not a given. And that is why today I will be sending to this city council a resolution calling for the relocation of the Calhoun statue to a local museum calling for a relocation, but listen to this, to a local museum or other academic institution where that necessary and long overdue reckoning can truly begin. At this point, At this point, I want to share with everyone, it's important for you citizens to know that we are taking this action only after careful consideration of the facts of Mr. Calhoun's life, the explicit duty of care that our city assumed when it formally accepted ownership of the statue in July of 1898. So I have with me the minutes from our special meeting back July 18th of 1898. Whereas the Ladies Calhoun Monument Association, after vicissitudes and efforts extending over many years, accomplished the object of its existence by the erection in Marion Square of the monument to South Carolina's greatest son, John C. Calhoun, and whereas the association is now about to dissolve and disband and desires to place the monument under the control and care of the city of Charleston, and has placed in the hands of the mayor of the city the key to the enclosure symbolizing its possession and custody. And yes, it was resolved that City Council in 1898 fully accepted the ownership of this statue. We own it. So, we've also given careful consideration to the state law, many people have been talking about it recently, known as the Heritage Act, which forbids the removal of war-related markers in the state of South Carolina. So if you read the Heritage Act very carefully, I have a copy of it right here. No Revolutionary War, War of 1812, Mexican War, War between the states, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam War, Persian Gulf War, Native American or African American history monuments or memorials erected on public property of the state or any political subdivisions may be relocated, removed, disturbed, or altered. Well, folks, this is not a war memorial. This is not a war memorial. And ironic, by this action, I believe we bring peace. In addition, it is not erected on public property. This square, although a central park of our city, does not belong to the city of Charleston. With all that legal and historical research now complete, we are confident, because the statue belongs to the city and rests on ground owned by a private entity, that our council, this council before you today, has the full authority to order its relocation to a city, to a setting where it can be placed y'all in full historical context. And it will be preserved and protected in another place where the full story of history can be told. Fellow Charlestonians, 5 years ago today, our city endured a most grievous loss as 9 beautiful souls were cruelly stolen from us in a hate-filled spasm of racist violence at Mother Emanuel AME Church, just 1 block from here. I didn't come with a prayer today, but I want to ask you to join me in a moment of silence as I read the names of those Emanuel 9. Clementa Pinckney, Cynthia Hurd, Susie Jackson, Ethel Lance, DePayne Middleton Doctor, Tywanza Sanders, Daniel Simmons, Sharonda Coleman Singleton, and Myra Thompson. Their lives were stolen. Thank you. But in the days that followed, thanks to amazing grace and the deep faith of the families of the Emanuel 9, some of which are here today, and the extraordinary act of forgiveness that so moved the world, the miracle of grace came upon our city and set us on this difficult but essential road to racial justice and conciliation. It's funny, I'll tell one personal story. After first being elected, my wife Sandy, who's probably here somewhere, was asked to be on the committee that would select the designer for the Mother Emanuel tribute, which has now been designed by Michael Arad, the same guy that designed the World Trade Center Memorial in New York City. So she got on the committee, and they asked her as First Lady to welcome each of the design candidates and give them a tour not only of the city but specifically of Marion Square and all the monuments thereon, notably John C. Calhoun behind us. And don't get me wrong, as a kid, I mean, I always wondered why you had a park named after Francis Marion, the Swamp Fox, and you had a statue of somebody else towering over it from just that simple perspective. But can you imagine how Sandy and I felt as we were touring with these world-renowned designers, getting ready to design the most beautiful tribute to the victims and survivors of Mother Emanuel, knowing the story of what John C. Calhoun said in June of 1837? A poignant irony. 5 years later, y'all, we together, we continue to take our steps on that shared journey to racial justice and conciliation. But as this remarkable display of unity by our city council amply demonstrates, we are taking those steps with clear purpose, and we are taking them together as one city, one Charleston. Thank you, Councilmember Gregory. And those steps have included other steps along the way, because 5 years ago, we began the Illumination Project to build trust between our police department and our citizens. Last year, we conducted one of the few, I think the only in the state of South Carolina, racial bias audit of our police department. We've increased our focus on affordable housing, and just last week at our last meeting formed a commission on equity and racial conciliation in our city. Thank you for coming here today, all of you. Thank you for recognizing that just as we are shaped by the history of those who have come before us, we are also shaped by the history yet to come. And that's why I invited a few individuals here today. Michael Better, where are you? Back here. Sydney Clinton, are you here, Sydney? She's out of town. G. Jordan, are you here, G? Right behind me. We have a new generation, y'all, coming along. We've got a new generation. We're so proud and happy that you're engaged with the action today. We are shaping that future history for the better, for Mike Better and everyone else in your generation. With the example of the remarkable families, I see Reverend Thompson out in the crowd, God bless you. The remarkable families of the Emanuel Nine in our hearts. With your example, Reverend Thompson, in my heart, in all of our hearts, we are challenged to continue shaping this new history by taking the next right steps towards respect for all of our human brothers and sisters, racial justice and equity here in this holy city of Charleston. So thank you. God bless you. God bless the great city of Charleston, South Carolina. Now I would like to introduce to you the co-chairs of our new Commission on Equity, Diversity, and Racial Conciliation, chaired by Council members Jason Saccharin and Dudley Gregory. Councilmember Gregory, would you like to say a few words, and then we'll open floor to any other council members who would like to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. It is a great day in the city of Charleston. All of us have a calling in life, and some of us really never reach it. But I'm here to say today, the calling of our mayor, Tecklenburg, is divine. And I'm glad that he is the leader that we have. Today is an awesome day. For 5 years ago, we witnessed the death of 9 people praying at our church. It's a great day for me personally, as a member of a family that understands brutality, that understands the shooting, death of loved ones in this city. So as I stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, as they have done for us in the past, we all sacrifice our lives today for a moment in history, not a moment in history, but a movement that will surely change the course of Charleston and Americans' history. Racism is violent and evil, and it's the foundation of an unjust America. This system, it's not broken. It was founded and designed on violent, vicious, evil racism, starting with the Native Americans and as it continues today with regard to people of color. This structural racism has disadvantaged black people. But I'm here to tell you, no longer will this council have its head in the sand as our children bear the brunt of this evil. The removal of this statue is just the beginning. As a part of our commission's mandate, we will look at all statues in the city of Charleston. In addition, our commission will be making recommendations to City Council and the Mayor for other statues of the enslaved people of this city, people who built it. This commission will attack racism with a vengeance unprecedented in the city of Charleston's history. We must reinvest in the black communities in this city. We cannot have our head in the sand as our children experience inferior education. We cannot have our head in the sand as we experience discrimination in housing, in health disparities, in economic disparities. The mission of this commission extends far beyond, yes, in criminal justice. Thanks for reminding me. This commission will extend far beyond City Hall. We will be going and taking positions in places that the city normally don't. we are going to look at all those areas that I talked about a little earlier. Reverend Rivers, we're not on our knees praying today, okay? We are taking action today. It is time for us to stop developing plans and studies. It is time for us to implement the studies and the plans that we already have the data that clearly shows the disparities with regard to a people. So today, our city demands the fullness of freedom and humanity for all of its citizens. Yes, we started with the apology, an apology that everybody says that would sit on the shelf. But take a look, folks. Take a look with this apology. We mean what we say. And the commission will carry out all the recommendations of that apology. Yes, the critics said, here we go again. Just another bunch of false promises with no action. But I'm here to tell you that there's nothing further from the truth. Because as we, as a commission, move forward with racial conciliation, equity, and inclusion, we move with a purpose of dismantling harmful systems in education, housing, health, police reform, zoning laws, and criminal justice reform. So I would like for everyone to know that as an African American, every day has an effect on our health. Racism, while it may be subtle, it is ever present within our communities. Let's not let this movement slip away. It's now or ever. This movement is of biblical proportion. The world is now saying that racism is an evil and it must be eradicated. So I leave you with this prayer. We are a hopeful people, and hope peers through the darkness, sees the light, and waits until morning. Charleston, this is our morning. Let's make sure that we use this energy for the good of all people of our city. Thank you.
Thank you, Co-Chair Gregory. My name is Jason Sackett. I'm a new council member, and I just want to say thank you to Councilman Gregory and Mayor Tecklenburg for believing in me to put me on this commission. I can't tell you the work we have ahead of us is tough, it's controversial, it's much needed, and I just want to share with everybody here that we're going to need everybody here to come out and make sure that you support us, support the decisions we make, because as Councilman Gregory said, they are biblical. I think we have an opportunity in our hands to make history, but we need the support from everyone here to come back out and to make sure your voices are concerned, that you're active in communities. The last thing I just wanted to say that I have no doubt that the removing of this statue from Marion Square to another location is the right thing to do for our community going forward. The values presented by this statue 150 years ago are not the values of Charleston 2020. Removing the statue is an opportunity for our city to take and talk about the history, and I fully support the decision that we must acknowledge, to Mr. Gregory's point, that the racial injustice permeates all aspects of our community. And we have to go beyond the simple removal of the statue, that we have to look at all of our policies in the city and our community. And I just want to support Councilman Gregory and the mayor and I'm willing to work, and let's get it done. So I just want to thank you, and this is a monumental moment for our city, and I can't be more happy as a new council person to be sitting here in front of you and having the support of the mayor, who I just want to say I am proud to be a newly elected city council member standing here today with our leader. So thank you so much.
Other council members, Keith, Marie.
We don't want it relocated. We want it removed.
Did Marie want to say anything?
Marie, you want to say something?
Relocation is not the answer.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Peter Shayan, and I represent District 9 of City Council. Next to me is my co-chairman, Jonathan Green. And this year we are celebrating the 350th anniversary. It's not a celebration, it's a commemoration of our history. And we came up with a mission statement in order to guide us on how to commemorate Charleston 350 years ago. Maybe it's by divine intervention or coincidence that today, in the heart of what we would be celebrating as our 350th anniversary, we were here making this announcement to remove the statue and relocate the statue. Because part of our mission is to make sure that we honor our rich heritage, our unique customs, but our diverse cultures in a manner that examines its past and present honestly, setting forth the course to make Charleston truly a 21st global city. I ask all citizens here who are listening and are watching here today to join Jonathan and myself that we come out of here today united. United, not divided, united. United to work together to address these issues, to address these problems that we have today, to address everything that we have that reflects racial inequality. We can do this. And as Charlestonians, we can show not only the region, not only our state, not only our country, but the world, how we do things properly in the city of Charleston. Join us all. I ask all of you, join us all to make sure that we proceed in a manner that shows one thing: love. Love and mutual respect for one another. Thank you.
Include everyone.
Members?
Time to campaign. But okay.
Just say anything. You're fine.
I am. Well, you know, you gotta love it when your fellow council members put you on the spot and you don't have anything prepared. I consider that an incredible honor. My name is Marie Del Chapo. I represent District 1, which the downtown portion of my district starts right across the street. And like Councilman Saccharin, I too was elected in November, and boy, we've been thrown right into the fire and gotten right to work for y'all, and that's what we signed up for, and we're proud to do it. I am, again, thanks to my fellow council members, I too am serving on that commission with Councilman Gregory and Saccharin, along with several other members of our council, and the energy that has already started behind it is contagious. We can't help but, as we talk to each other about it, smile at how excited we are for these changes to come. A lot of folks don't know this about me, but I don't think you'll find anybody who's more proud to live in this country. My family came over on the Mayflower. They fought in the Revolutionary War. They fought in the Civil War. They've been here from the beginning. And with that came triumph, and with that came things that weren't so great. And I am proud to say that we're here to move forward, and we're here to move forward together, to leave those things behind, and how can we all come together and learn the lessons and move on as one. It's time for it to stop being us versus them, and for us to all come together. Thank you.
How many women?
How many women? There's two of us.
You are one of two?
Yes.
And you are an independent mother?
Yeah, all right.
So can we want to applaud?
She's crazy.
We want to applaud.
Thank you.
I'm happy to see all of you all here. And many years ago, back in the 50s and late 60s, I have marched up and down these streets and got arrested 25 times right here in the city of Charleston, trying to make a difference in the civil rights movement. And, you know, I have never imagined in my lifetime that I would see this statue come down. So it's a thrilling thing to me, because I was marching down this street. I got arrested right here in this middle of this street, right across from it, all those times, and in Woolworth, sitting down at the counter. So that's a movement that we had during that time. That's our time and movement. Now it's a new movement coming. So we are advisors to our young people who are taking place now. And they are moving on with different ideas. But history is history. There's a history there. The statue have to come down, but it's still a history, letting them know that what happened in the past brought us to the future, which we are here today to recognize that it was an injustice that was done during those times. So then this is why this council and myself, and I told the mayor on various occasions, I would vote to take it down any day. I know it's not a favorable thing. I know some people are saying now, but it takes time. It takes all this time for me to come here. It takes time for me to come here from the time of the 50s to make it different in the city of Charleston. The city of Charleston was not what you see today. I'm telling you, so we are moving forward. The young people are moving forward. They have the ideas, so we are working with them. We are supposed to be advisors. That's what we're here for. So it's going to happen, and it's here today. We have fought for it. A lot of people are talking about it. Now today is the day it's going to happen. So we just have to work together and stop, we all have to work together in harmony and peace. That's the only way it's going to work. We have to get together and not start talking about it, but working together as a people. And this is what I always do, working together as a people. I take a lot of abuse that a lot of you all have never taken and will not take. But now it's a different movement, so we have to work together and do this properly and in order. Like my parents always tell us, to do things decent and in order. And this is what we are doing now, decent and in order. This statue is not my God. He is sitting high and looking low. The only person that I look at is God. He looks high and sits low. So I don't worship a statue. So this is what I'm saying to you all, and I'm applauding my young people. We are working together. Work with us. We are working with you to make sure these things are going to take place of injustice that's happening over this United States. Thank you.
We start out by saying thank you, but the first people I want to thank is all the young people in this area that came out and gave rise to no peace, no justice, not only in Charleston, but around this country and around the world. The Pope even mentioned George Floyd's name. This is a movement. But for the young people, the stakeholders, the mayor, the council, frankly, we wouldn't be here today. You are being heard. Our mayor has heard you. Our mayor got in action and called each council member. And we kept the confidence until today so he could have the opportunity to not only inform you, but to inform the country and frankly the world about hate coming down. And the history of that hate, frankly, should be preserved. And I'll tell you why. So it should never happen again. That kind of hate should never happen again to enslave a people. We stand in the shadows of the Holocaust. That kind of hate should never happen again in this world.
That's right.
Our city is building an international African American museum not very far from here. It will tell the truth about America's greatest sin, or original sin, that of slavery, that of inhumane treatment of a people. It takes intestinal fortitude for the mayor to get up here. It takes intestinal fortitude for council to get up here. we're going to get tremendous pushback. And we're going to need your help, and go get your friends' help, because we're going to push back when we get that resistance. The logistics of the General Assembly with the Heritage Act was a legal maneuver. One General Assembly cannot bind another. It's unconstitutional. They gave it a name to sound long, like it's been here a long time, heritage. It's a teenager. Councilman Shahid just said we celebrate our 350th anniversary as Charleston being a city. 350 years, 1670. How long has the Heritage Act been around? Most of you are older than it, about 19 years. If it were individual, it's not even old enough to buy a beer. Certainly it can come down. This country put a man on the moon, brought him back safe, and to prove it, we did it again. So, can this statue come down during our lifetime? It will. Will this mayor and council appropriate the money to get the crane to take it down? That's going to happen very soon. Okay? And when the General Assembly and the Attorney General come to support wrong, which is the Heritage Act, again, we will fight that all the way to the Supreme Court. And we need your help. We need your help. So I am proud of my colleagues. I am proud of the mayor. I am proud, and I'm going to get shots back on this, but I am proud of our police chief. I am proud of our fire chief. I am proud of that. I'm proud of that. And because of the open lines of communication, you're being heard, and you will continue to be heard, and changes will be made. That said, I look forward to the crane coming up and pulling it down. Thank you.
Any other council members? Any other council members would like to be heard? So, just for protocol and logistics, what we're doing is following City Council's normal procedure, which is to release our agenda for our next meeting, which is next Tuesday. The agenda goes out today. That's why we're making this announcement. The meeting at which council will pass upon this, take action on this resolution will be next Tuesday at our regular City Council meeting. I just want to let everybody know that. We have to do that before we can take the next step. We're taking this, we're transparent, we're open, we're taking this a step at a time. It's a public process. This is democracy, y'all. This is democracy at work. So we've had the meetings at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So we've had a number of other elected officials here, and I would be remiss to start naming names, but I do want to close out, and then we'll take some questions if you like, with one state legislator who happens to be a family member, brother of the beloved Myra Thompson, J.A. Moore. J.A.
I'm asking my brother-in-law Anthony to come up and join me. And I would ask my colleague, Representative Gilliard, to join me as well. Is he still here? Okay. I want to make sure those of us that are not the activists right now, let's give a round of applause to these young people fighting courageously. Y'all got to do better than that. Y'all need to give it up for these young people that are fighting courageously. Yeah. See, I want to talk real quickly to y'all. In this moment, yes, I'm the Honorable J. Moore, but that wasn't by choice, that was by purpose. I did not want this task, I did not want this burden on myself, but tragedy hit. My beloved sister, his wife, was murdered by white supremacist terrorists in this community. So these were great people. And I understand y'all's frustration because I was y'all just 5 years ago. I was marching, I was shouting, I wanted to tear stuff down. I was going to use another word, but the pastor's here. But I'm telling y'all, keep up fighting. Don't give up. Don't let anybody tell y'all to shut up or be silent or stop what you're doing. Stop demanding us to do more, because we must do more. This is not enough. This is just a token. This is just a surface response to a big systemic issue. See, this time we must demand justice. We must demand that not only the flag come down, but all the institutional discriminations against our people. We must demand high-quality education for our people. We must demand economic opportunities for our people. We must demand affordable access to health care to our people. And look, I'm tired of praying and I'm tired of marching. We must have action, and young people, it's up to y'all. This time is going to be different because this moment demands it. It demands that it be different, and young people, the task is on y'all. I'm going to be fighting with y'all. But y'all can't fight against us. Y'all got to fight with us. Y'all got to fight with us. Y'all got to fight with us. I'm with you. I'm riding with y'all. I'm riding with y'all. Yeah. And so, to everybody else, this is so important. And I want to say this as I close. And I was thinking about when the mayor was talking about the history of this statue. I was thinking about my daughter Mariah. My daughter Mariah, she's 10 months old. My daughter Mariah. My daughter Mariah is named after my great-grandmother Mariah that was born in the late 1800s when this statue was erected. All of our lives, we've had to have this tyrannous, treacherous statue looking over us. This is a big moment, y'all. This is a big moment, y'all. This is a big moment for my daughter, for your son, for your brother, for your sister. But let's not let this moment go in vain. We got to continue to fight. Don't let nobody pacify y'all. Keep fighting. Keep being strong. I love y'all. I'm with y'all. God bless. It's awesome. Thank y'all.
Michael Better, you want to add anything from the, poor Jay's pretty young fella, but one of our new leaders, Black Lives Matter, Michael Better.
Yeah, better.
They say, well, how can we trust in them? Well, I'm not up for no election. I'm here for the movement, all right? They say, well, they're not sure, they're not used to what's going on. I can speak for the 90s and the 2000s. I can't speak for the 60s, but I can speak for the 90s. I've been racially profiled, and I'm from the heart of Baltimore City. Now, I may not be a Charleston native, but I've lived in Charleston since 2006. I know what it's like to be unjust. I know what it's like to be looked down upon. I know what it's like to struggle with $7.50 an hour, hoping I can pay my electricity bill. I know what it's like to walk past this statue. I got 3 children, and my son's going to ask, wherever this statue gets relocated, well, what is that? Oh, that was a guy that we tore down. Even now, and I know you guys want to put him in the river, but when I talk about wherever he is, he said, well, where was he? Well, he used to be in Marion Square looking down. Now I'm looking down upon the statue. I can't reach up and grab him from where I'm at, but when my son passes and he walks by and he says, well, what's that? Oh, what he used to be was above us. Now he's below us. So it's the reason why he still needs to be. He just don't need to be up there. Just a block away. And my thing is, when we talk, we don't want to get away from the movement. 5 years ago, a massacre. So I want to make sure that I honor that I'm not taking away, because like I said, this is just a piece. Because there's a whole lot of J.C. Calhouns in people's hearts that we need to identify. That's what I'm looking at. I can't just point down the statue and change them. I need to be looking at them. When they talk about the commission, once again, this is not just city council members. These are community members. So I know you guys want to understand this. Well, who's on it? Well, I'm going to be one of those people that's backing you. And like I said, I'm not up for a vote in the election. I'm doing this because this much time. It's time for us to do it. So when it comes to the fight, I'll fight with you. So don't let nobody say, well, stop talking, because I hear you. I've been that person. I'm still that person. But once again, it's not just for us. It's for the next generation. It's for my son. It's for my daughter to understand, well, who used to be right there? It don't matter. He ain't there no more. I don't even need to worry about that. But it's a bigger moment than that. So once again, I've said this a lot. We can be here, but we also got to be here. Because if we're not here first, this is not going to be strong enough. And it also starts with us first. We can change the world, but we got to change Charleston. That's what this is. Because I've been here since '06 and we ain't never had this. And I done passed this statue a million times. There was nobody, no mayor of Tecklenburg, no city council members. And I wondered to myself, when is this going to change? Well, the change is here. It ain't coming, it's here. But it don't happen overnight, but the change is here, and we are changing. And by God, it can go through me, I'm changing with it. I'm not looking for the vote, I'm looking for the change. But again, not just for me. It's for the little kid that could have been Dylan Roof that I need to stop before he becomes Dylan Roof. I can't say former Officer Chavez puts his knee on the neck. I need to stop the officer before he becomes Officer Chavez. We need to stop them before they become that. Those are the J.C. Calhouns that we don't know about yet. That's what the purpose of the commission. That's the point of starting here. So I understand you saying throw it in the river. But we also need to remind that generation of who he was and where he used to be. Because even though he's not in that river, I'm looking down and I say, what happened to him? Oh, change happened. Because he stood tall, change happened. And they say, well, you have to speak for the people. I'm the people. And I'm speaking not just for me, but for everybody. I know I can speak for everybody because I've been that struggle. I struggle with you and I want change with you. I will never fight against you. My sister, you can give all your views and I will listen to every last one of them. Because I want the same change you want. Even if we went about it in different ways, the end goal is equality. So whatever you got to tell me, you can say it to me and I will listen. I will never disrespect my brothers and sisters. I love you guys. I've learned so much. And that's why I'm here, because I thought, man, not just why are we here, why am I just here now? I've been here since 2006. Why now? Because before George Floyd, there were many George Floyds that I don't even know about. There were many Oscar grants that didn't get the movie for Michael B. Jordan that I don't know about. So that's why I'm here, because I had to change first. But we're going to change with each other.
Oh, the energy and enthusiasm of youth. Isn't it beautiful? All right. Any questions from the media? Could I ask for the media questions first? Yes, sir.
Mayor, there's been calls to rename the street, Calhoun Street, right behind us. Is there any word on whether the city is looking at renaming Calhoun Street?
So that's the thing about the Heritage Act. You have my folder. There are things that are applicable to the Heritage Act. And so that's why it's important, Councilmember Gilliard and Representative Moore and Gilliard, to make some changes, as has been discussed over the last few days with the Heritage Act. Because, y'all, if there's no other reason but this, people locally ought to be able to make local decisions about their community. And for the state to tell us we can't name a road or park, I believe we should have that right. But frankly, the Heritage Act says that no street, bridge, park, or other public area of the state or any political subdivision dedicated to the memory of or named for a historic figure or historic event may be renamed. So there are restrictions that are spelled out, and renaming a street as of right now is one of them. No. We need to change state law for that.
So in order of a timeline right now. So in order of a timeline right now, I know you said it will be going to City Council on Tuesday. What's the process look like from there? Is it a first, second, third reading, and then a crane comes in if that's what you so choose?
It's a resolution, it's not an ordinance, so it just will require one reading of council next Tuesday, and then we can go about the business of procurement to get the equipment to do the job. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I wanted to say, speak to Mayor Tecklenburg and to the city council.
Questions, please.
Yes, the question,
Yeah.
how the people here, the everyday people of Charleston, are you all also committed to addressing them, to acknowledging them, not ignoring them, not dismissing them when they bring concerns to you? Meaning
Absolutely.
their letters are responded to, their emails are responded to, and we acknowledge the ostracized, the ignored, and the suffering who face this when they bring matters of racism and discrimination and marginalization to the attention of City Council and the mayor. Do you promise to acknowledge them and to be present for them beyond today?
Yes, of course,
And every
yes,
day?
yes.
I
So,
would like to
just to
hear-
let folks know, the question is about contacting us, and admittedly, during this time of the coronavirus, we're meeting virtually, but if you go to our website, you can call us and leave a voicemail, you can send us an email, you can sign up to speak at our city council meeting. Michael did it last week. It's not that hard to do. Yes, we're listening, and then in addition to that, when this commission meets, they will have public meetings, both virtual and eventually in person, and we ask everyone to be engaged and and you will be heard. Any other questions from the press?
Yeah, one more question. So we understand the statue's coming down. Is the whole monument going to be taken down as well?
Probably not at one time. You know, it'll probably be split into a couple of tasks. So we're working that out now. All right. Yes, sir.
Any idea where it might be relocated to in the city or outside the city? What are the thoughts there?
Well, the resolution, the question is about where the statue might be relocated. The resolution says to a museum or to an institution of higher learning. We have discussions going on already with both those kinds of institutions. We haven't resolved it yet, but we'll be in one of those institutions. Yes, ma'am.
You said you determined that the Heritage Act did not apply to the statute. Have state officials agreed with that interpretation?
I did call the governor's office today and expressed this resolve that we have about the Heritage Act and this particular statute. So I've made them aware of the city's position. They haven't responded yet. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. To show solidarity and unity throughout Charleston and just like throughout the whole country,
Yes,
I
sir.
would like to have a request. I would like for everybody, if we could, not to offend anybody, to take a knee. Because we're not against the cops. The cops are part of our community.
Yeah.
We should support of them, because there are people doing this. They have to pay, they got to work on it. But to show solidarity for people.
Right.
Forget about your uniforms. People.
Thank you.
I would wish for us to take a knee representing the people.
Right. Thank you.
Regardless of what profession you may hold. Because at the end of the day, we're all human
We
beings.
have a request for everybody to take a knee. Would y'all like to take a knee? Okay. There you go. All right. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
What about the statue in White Point Garden?
That would be subject to the Heritage Act as well. Yeah, that particular memorial is related to a war, and as I read out to you, those are protected at this point by the Heritage Act. We hope change will be coming. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor, what's going to go in place of this? Is it going to be left empty, or are you looking at?
So the question is, what will go in place of here? As I mentioned to y'all before, the city does not own this property, and so we will be in consultation with the property owners about that. Yeah, yeah. I have been in touch with the property owners. Yes, ma'am. All right.
Are you willing to challenge this Heritage Act and bring it to the level of justice, even if it reaches the Supreme Court, in order to make sure that these statues and symbols of racism are taken down regardless?
Well, as I've said, I believe home rule should prevail and that we should have the right on local level to make those decisions. I know in the last couple of days, many legislators have come forward to challenge the constitutionality and the act itself. So I believe it's their job, our legislators, to take that task to Columbia and try to get that change done. One more question. Anybody in the press? Yes, sir.
The city owns the monument, and if the city owns the monument and a resolution is not binding by law, why do you need a resolution?
What's that?
Why do you need a resolution if the city owns the monument and the resolution is not adopting a new law? Why do you need to pass a resolution?
We certainly wanted to have the solidarity of our city council to take this step. That's why. Thank you all for being with us. God bless. God bless the city of Charleston. Thank you so much.